A few years ago, trifle was a big dessert that you saw everyone make. They put it in big bowls and it was so pretty. I had a brother-in-law that just loved it. Every time he came down, that's what he wanted me to make. I'd made it for a family reunion and he just loved it. So to begin with, we're going to make our cake. Now you can use a yellow cake mix if you prefer, but I like making a good yellow butter cake because the more homemade that you put in it, the better it's going to taste. I have two 9-inch cake pans here. I have sprayed them with olive oil and dusted them with flour. I'm going to set those aside. In my mixer here, I have 1.5 sticks of butter, or I guess that's 3/4 cup of butter. And first I'm going to just blend that. I've left it out for room temperature so it's nice and soft, and I'm going to beat that until it's nice and creamy. Okay, I have creamed my butter to where that it's nice and smooth. And to that I'm going to add 1 cup of milk. Now that's what it calls for, but I used 3/4 cup of whipping cream and 1/4 cup of water. We're going to add 3 eggs and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm just going to mix it up slowly. Increase my speed. And then I'm going to add to that 1 3/4 cups of sugar. And we're going to slowly pour that in so that it mixes and doesn't lump up. And while that blends, I'm going to take 2 3/4 cups of cake flour. And to that, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoonful of salt and 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm just going to whisk that in a little bit. I'm going to turn my mixer down on low and gradually add the flour mixture. Okay, you can see that it is well mixed. It's a nice smooth mixture. Doesn't that look buttery and creamy? Now we're going to put it as evenly as we can in the 2 pie pans that we have. Now I'm going to put this in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes at 350. And when we get out, we're going to have a really good buttery yellow cake. You can use this cake with just about anything, but I found that whenever you fix it with the dessert that we're doing today, it is just superb. Shake that just a little bit, tap it. That gets out any air bubbles that you might have in the bottom. Now we're going to put this in 350, 35 to 40 minutes. While our cake bakes, we're going to cut these strawberries. And I'm going to cut probably about 4 cups of strawberries and add 1/3 cup of sugar. Set them in the refrigerator and let them begin to get nice and juicy. Okay, we have about 4 cups there. And now to add my 1/3 cup sugar. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. cover it with saran wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and let the juices begin to come out of the strawberries. Okay, it has been 40 minutes, and I'm going to take these out. Set them on a wire rack, let them cool for a few minutes, and then I will take them out of the pan and let them continue to cool. Okay, my cakes are cooling. The strawberries are in the refrigerator beginning to lose the juices and mash together with the sugar. And we are now going to make the vanilla pudding part that goes with this recipe. We're going to use 1/2 cup of sugar. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
How about 1/8?
Oh, 1/8. That's better. Yeah, that's what it says, 1/8. And 2 tablespoonfuls of cornstarch. And I'm just going to stir that together a little bit. Kind of mix that up. And then I'm going to turn my heat on and slowly begin to add my milk. And of course, whenever I'm making something I want to be really rich, I have used 1.5 cups or 1 1/4 cups of heavy cream, and then I've filled the rest up with water just to make a really rich cream. When you add your cold milk to your cornstarch before it begins to heat up, it mixes so much better. And I'm just going to stir and heat this until it begins to thicken. Okay, the steam's beginning to come up off of my milk mixture, and I'm going to, even though it is not thickened, I'm going to pour about 1/2 cup into 1 large beaten egg. Mix that together. What this does is it helps to keep the egg from cooking and having long strands of cooked egg in your pudding. And the egg, as soon as you put it in there, you can see it almost automatically begins to thicken it up. And I'm just going to cook this until it's nice and thick and pudding consistency. Okay, it has begun to boil, and as you see, it's nice. It's beginning to be nice and thick, and I'm going to take that off of the heat. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And 2 tablespoons of salted butter. And I'm just going to stir that in until it's all nice and smooth, mixed in good, and the butter will make it very smooth and creamy. And I like using salted butter just because sugar and salt together just seems like it brings out the flavor. And you can use, I used vanilla in mine, but if you want, you can use almond. Almond would be good flavoring also. As you see, that's very hot, and it doesn't take long for that butter to melt. And then we're just going to set this aside and let it cool at room temperature. Now, this is not going to be a real thick pudding, but we don't want it to be real thick. We want it to be just a little pourable. Okay, it is time to assemble our trifle. Now, what I've done is I have cut this cake in 4 pieces. Then I just kind of went around and made a round circle. You can cut it however you want to. The first layer, we're going to layer in the bottom of our dish. And as you can see, it's a pretty tight fit, but we still want to put these little edges in there. We want as much cake down there in the bottom as we can get. And if you need to patch it, just go right ahead, patch it, fill in all the little holes. And to the bottom layer, we're going to add the strawberries. Now, these don't have a lot of juice, and I was kind of disappointed with that, but it's early in the year. And we want juice and strawberries all the way across on that. And in fact, if you want to, you can mash these up. The trouble with these was they were kind of hard. They're not really seasoned for strawberries yet, so you're not going to get that good soft strawberry that you will later on in the year. Put that in there. You want the juice to kind of drain down into that cake. And on top of that, we are going to add some of our pudding. Now, these truffle bowls was really in style for a while because you could make all of these layered desserts, but they're kind of hard to store because they're so large, and they've kind of fell out, and I hate that because they really make a pretty dessert. If you're having a party or someone's taking stuff to someone's house, these just go over really good. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be just perfect in there. Just enough to where you can kind of see there's a different layer. There's a different layer on that. Okay. Then we're going to take, I like to get the Cool Whip that has the extra creamy in it, just because we know that that is richer. And I'm going to spread that on the top. Don't worry about the center so much. You're wanting it around the edges where that it will show off in the bowl. And I will tell you right now, it takes 2 of the 8 ounces or 1 of the large ones. And we could not find a large extra creamy, so we bought 2. Okay. Time for more cake. Now we're going to put pineapple. Pineapple, juice and all. But you want to spoon that in there. If the juice runs down into the other, that's just all right. What that's doing is just adding a little extra flavor. And this will take a full 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. I've got a little juice left, and I'm just going to pour that on the top. Okay, we think we're done, right? Nope. There's always, with me, one more something to add, and we're going to add bananas. Now, you're going to need 2 large ones or probably about 3 small ones. And you want to put it next to the pineapple because we all know that good old bananas turn brown unless they're close to some kind of a, what am I trying to think of, Scott?
Acid?
Acid, yeah, some kind of an acid.
She's distracted because I'm eating the leftover cake and strawberries while she's working over there.
That's right. That's right. He's a testimony to staying away from dessert and barbecue and all of this stuff. We've been working out in the yard this morning, so I know he's wore out. So I'm trying to appease him with a really nice dessert. My way of paying him without paying dollars. Well, these bananas are not real ripe. I prefer they was a little more ripe, but they'll work. I finally got all the bananas cut and on top. The bananas were not very big round, so it took a lot of cutting. Now I'm going to put a few of the strawberries that's left just here on the top. I don't want them real thick because I'm running out of bowl. Just kind of a little single layer. Remember, we've got 4 cups of strawberries here. And the juice and all. Well, it looks like that's going to be about it. Sorry, Scott.
I know. I was like, she did that so I couldn't eat anymore. I know. I know the plan.
It's the ugly truth. Now I'm going to put the rest of that pudding on this. Now you might think that you can use you can use the mixes that you get at the store, but you will find that this little recipe right here has the best flavor. You're just going to spread that out a little bit. It doesn't even have to go to the end. We're just using up everything that we've got left. And then we're going to top that with the whipped cream. Now I've gone out to the edge and tried to get just far enough to cover up the fruit that's on top. That helps keep the fruit from becoming too weepy once it sets in the refrigerator. And we're going to set this in the refrigerator and let it chill for, oh, if you can make it for an hour, that's great. If not, you could eat it now. But I want you to just take a look at this. Look at all the layers that's in there. All of the whipped cream. You can see the bananas, the strawberries. That's a pretty dessert.